Welcome to the Inside the Bet podcast, the podcast built for sports punters looking for those edges. Come join us in the winner's circle as we take on the bookies and win. Let's go inside the bet with your host, Luke Youngblood. Welcome to the show today. Today's show is sponsored by Ladbrokes. Get all your betting picks and that, and you can download the app for all our plays at the Ladbrokes website, ladbrokes.com. On the show today, we're going to be talking NRL, AFL, and wars on, week to go in the NBA. So let's get just stuck into it straight away. Round 4 coming up in the NRL, and after coming off a extremely successful round 3, we've got some great selections coming up. It's going to be one of those rounds again where there are some bashers versus bums, but if we look at the Thursday night game, you got the Eagles against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are looking easily the better side, and Manly without a coach. Can they spring back? Not too sure there. Just shed on them. Very disappointing Bulldogs against a South Sydney side that would like their chances against the Bulldogs this week after seeing the holes up the middle. The Storm at 8 p.m. Saturday night, primetime game against the very informed Penrith Panthers. You're looking at a very shaky Melbourne side that just look like they don't know where they're going. A lot of penalties, a lot of lost ball, a lot of missed tackles, and they're coming up against, as we all know, a very well-oiled Panthers side who are giving 7.5 start, and it's something that it's probably going to make its way into the podcast today. You've got the Cowboys at Dragons, and we'll leave that up for you guys to figure out who's going to win that one. But the Cowboys last year were much better against the bottom 4 sides, so we'll see how that one turns out. You've got a Broncos side that's had a good win on the weekend over the Dolphins, and they're playing a pretty average Titans side up on the Gold Coast. 10.5 start there. It's a big start. It's something we'd expect you to see Brisbane getting a lot of tries. The try market's set there at 4.5, so it's something we're going to get into match by match there as we go into our best picks for this coming round. The Warriors at Cronulla. Cronulla, a good bounce-back win on the weekend, and the Warriors, I guess you'd say, very disappointing at home. We'll get into that game a little later. The Raiders at the Knights up here in Newcastle, 4:05, and the weekend finishes off with the Tigers at CommBank Stadium against the Eels. So we've got a crack around there. Let's just jump into our AFL real quick for the weekend. It's a pretty action-packed card again in the AFL. It's been a fantastic start to the season. And you've got a couple of standout sides up the top of the comp. Lions made a good bounce back last week, as you would expect, and I think we're going to see some points out of the Lions this coming weekend up in Brisbane. Carlton versus North Melbourne, and North Melbourne surprised. Carlton dropped another one, and it looks like could be in real trouble. You've got Port Adelaide, the Fremantle Dockers at Adelaide, cracker game. And Adelaide liked their finishing first last year, past the post, going into the postseason. Should be a good match. Port Adelaide, very disappointing, but playing the bottom side Tigers, you'd imagine after that disaster they had on the weekend, they should kick a lot straighter than that. Sydney are out on the West Coast playing the Eagles. The Suns are at Melbourne at the MCG for 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And Sunday's games, you've also got a Monday game this week, which is the Geelong Cats against the Hawthorn Hawks. Essendon against the Bulldogs, 7:20 Sunday night at Marvel Indoor Stadium. Essendon be lucky to score 40 points again. Really going to have to try to get their work rates up if they're going to compete in this one. Big spread again. Could be looking at a total for the Western Bulldogs, and we'll get into that when we get into the AFL section of the show. And, of course, we're over to the final week of the NBA where things are starting to shape up pretty well for the sides at the top. The others sitting in the middle on the ladder. You've got some interesting teams that are sitting in that 9-10 hole. Houston, Minnesota on one side, and you've got Charlotte and Miami, and you have Portland, Golden State. The outsiders, which they look to be too far back, are Memphis, and on the west side, interestingly, Milwaukee sitting outside the Miami Heat, and Milwaukee they don't look like they can score 100 points in any game, let alone maybe 80 points. They seem to be a maybe 90-point team, having a lot of troubles, probably too far back now for them to get there. So we'll get into the NBA best bets coming up as well. Closing thoughts, here's what we're looking at. Let's get in the winner's circle again this week. Let's try and take advantage. We're going to have probably somewhere between maybe 25 and 50 units of our stakeout, so bet responsibly. Take things steady. We're not going to get into too many big ones this week. We've got some great 5 and 7.5 unit bets, but we're not going to have any of our 10 unit bets at this stage unless we see some markets close. So as always, head over to btsguru.com, get all our best bets there, and we'll see you in the winner's circle. This has been a broadcast by BTS Guru. Thanks for listening and subscribe at btsguru.com. Remember to bet responsibly, set a limit.